Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. This topic is entitled, Am I Responsible for My Husband's Happiness? It is a great question, and I could literally say absolutely not and be completely truthful. I could also say absolutely and be completely truthful. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to come up with the best answer for each quote unquote side, but it's a little bit complicated, isn't it? Because on one hand, you're not responsible for anyone's happiness but your own. So let's start there. Are you happy? Are you happy? Because if you're asking this question, chances are you're not all that happy in your marriage. Let's be honest. Because you're frustrated, because you're wondering, well, am I supposed to make my husband happy? And you're not happy yourself. So let's start with that, okay? And then I promise you I will get to the responsibility for your husband's happiness topic. But we have to start with you, because there's only one person who can control you, and that is you. We are all as souls, and we are souls. We have a body and we have a mind, but essentially we're souls, and this is not a religious thing. We have free will. It's one of the most incredible gifts. Now, another incredible gift is our marriage, but we'll find that in another video. In this one, let's talk about free will. What does that really mean? You see, we're raised in wonderful, loving families sometimes, and they send us to great schools, as good as they exist. And what do we learn? We learn how to speak properly. We learn how to break down sentences. We learn math. We learn a little bit of history. We learn this and that. But we don't learn anything about ourselves. It's no one's fault. The world is evolving. We as individuals should be evolving too. And one of the areas that is totally lacking in our education is the knowledge of what comprises a human being. What are we? And it's not a religious question. It is not. It's a practical question. What are you? So I said you're a soul, and you have a mind, and you have a body. Great. So what? So this. The mind is meant to be controlled by you. By you, and you're a soul. And what does that mean, to control the mind, to master it? It means that you have this amazing tool called free will, which allows you every second of your life to choose between this, that, and the other. But we don't. Instead, we rely on our habits. We don't know why those habits exist, but we rely on them. We don't even think. So we are facing a situation, and it could be a very beautiful situation, like looking at a sunset. And some of us, men in particular, might be thinking how far away the sun is and how long it took for the light to get to us. Where you might be more of a poetic person, someone who is, I can't remember, left brain or right brain, and you're just really inspired by the beautiful colors being formed by the setting sun. Those are choices that we make, how we see that setting sun. And it is the same with our moods. We can choose whether we will be triggered by an outer event. We can choose to be objective. We can choose to be connected but not affected. We have free will. And that free will is a very broad, all-encompassing thing. That free will is not limited to only certain things. Literally, we have the power. Now, you'd have to learn and develop and all, but we have the power to slow down our heartbeat, increase our heartbeat. There's even people who can stop breathing. They don't die. They stop breathing sometimes for hours at a time. Free will is an amazing thing. And we're the ones who can decide whether we're going to be happy or not. So are you happy? Are you constantly happy? You should be constantly happy. You should be walking around in a state of joy. You should be enjoying your marriage in a way where it's constantly bringing you happiness. And by how you see it, which is free will. You get to see your husband not for quote unquote who he is, but you get to see him through the eyes of love. He is your soulmate. That's who he is. He is your soulmate. Very special. And marriage is incredibly special. You know, at the Marriage Foundation, which I founded, everything is wrapped around love and happiness. It's not a Western psychological journey. It's a spiritual journey of love and joy. I used to be a divorce mediator. Talk about going from one extreme to another. I used to help people get a divorce. And then, because one couple asked me to save their marriage, I had to dig deep and rediscover marriage in a different context from how most marriage, so-called experts see marriage. It's like they all see it the same way and they all see it incorrectly. They see it as a psychological thing. But it's not. Love is not a psychological thing. Love is the heart, the soul. It is the real thing. It is the you. And if anything, we have to remove the clutter from our mind so that we can express our love in our marriage to our husband. And will that make him happy? Not necessarily. But it will make you happy. And he will be in your environment, which means he will start being happier. And is it your responsibility to be happy in your marriage? Why wouldn't you want to be? You should want to be happy constantly. You should avoid anything and everything that brings you down. If you really think about it, because you have free will, you have the awareness, the consciousness of what happiness is, the consciousness of what love is. Why would you ever allow your mind to drag you into the depths of incredibly, in my opinion, stupid things like sadness? Why be sad when it's a matter of choice? Now, some of you are going to be going, oh no, it's not a matter of choice. What if my cat gets hit by a car? Let's put that stuff aside. And let's just talk about the day-to-day stuff. You can choose how you're going to be affected literally by everything that's happening. There are many people who have learned this way, and it almost doesn't matter what happens. Maybe their cat does get hit by a car, and they still feel an inner joy and the sadness of seeing their cat suffer at the same time. That's what I'm talking about is real. I've done that myself, not with my cat, but other things where I've experienced intense joy and intense sadness at the exact same time. We're not taught these things. So it's not really your fault or my fault that we didn't learn these things growing up, but it's very real. One of the things we should have learned is how to master our mind. So your husband, maybe he's complaining to you that you're not making him happy. Well, the way to receive that is not objectively and go, honey, what should I do to make you happy? I'm doing the best I can. I try everything. I give this, I do that, blah, 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 blah. No, don't do that. Be his soulmate. Be his soulmate. Hear what he has to say, but go deeper. Let your heart manifest that love that you are in his life. Do you know, of all the venues in our life, marriage is unique because you are allowed to, without any danger, completely 100% express your love. You got to get it out of your mind that there is a danger, because that is just the mind messing with you. The mind doesn't want you to experience love because the mind cannot experience love. It's above the mind. You're the soul. So are you responsible? So here's the yes part. Of course you're responsible to give your husband all the happiness and pleasure and sweetness that you possibly can, and avoid everything and anything that might upset him, hurt his feelings, disrupt his day. Yes, you're responsible, but for both of your sake. Now, are you responsible for your husband's happiness? Of course not. He has free will. Whether he's going to be happy or not is his choice. But you don't tell him that, because that's not a loving thing to do. Instead, you lead by example. You show him a smile every time he looks at you. You touch him with tenderness. When you make love to him, you don't make it a recreational event. You make it a love fest. Real love, not recreational sex, but real love, where you open your heart to him. And you do it consciously. We're conscious beings, so you have that ability. It's time to rediscover marriage. It is. Rediscover it the way I did, where it's all wrapped around the context of happiness and love. Those are the very reasons we get married. Those are the achievements that we want, and those should be the expectations that we have. Take a look at the website that we have. See what we have to offer to help you get there. Subscribe to the channel so you could definitely learn more just by watching these videos. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. We're here to serve you. Visit again. God bless you. Take care. God bless you.